Welcome to Tungal online classes. Today we are going to start a new topic called magnetism and matter. Magnetism and matter. So before going to study about the magnetism and matter, in the last topic we studied about the magnetic field which is produced by the moving charged particles. Moving charged particles. That is, the magnetic field what we studied in the last topic is produced by the moving charges only, not by the given bar magnet. So in this topic called magnetism and matter, we are going to study about what is the magnet, and who invented this magnet, and later on we are going to discuss about the bar magnet. What is the bar magnet and what are the properties of the bar magnet, and what are the magnetic field lines, and what is the magnetic field, earth magnetism. All these topics are going to discuss in detail in this magnetism and matter. First, we are going to study about what is the magnet, and who invented this magnet. First, what we know, what is the magnet and who invented this magnet. First we have to know about the word magnet. From where this magnet word will be taken. So the word magnet will be taken from the name of the island, called Magnesia. So from where this magnet word will be taken, the word magnet will be taken from the name of the island called Magnesia, which is located in Greece. So that the word magnet will be taken from the name of the island called Magnesia, which is located in where? Greece. Okay, now. And who invented that magnet? Means the shepherds. The shepherds, they went to the island called Magnesia. The shepherds who went to the island called Magnesia, and they noticed that their shoes which are having the iron nails, is attracted by that mountain which is located in the island called Magnesia. So first, who identified the magnet means the magnet was first identified by the shepherds who went to one island called Magnesia. So what they noticed means their shoes which is having the iron nails, they will be attracted by that mountain, which is located in the island called Magnesia. That was first invented by the shepherds. Later on, the scientist Thales came later on. So who was identified the magnet scientifically means the scientist Thales. So he discovered that this island will be consisting of a large amount of iron ore. So what he was discovered by the Thales means the Thales was discovered that the island which is calling as a Magnesia will be consisting of a huge amount of the iron ore, which is having the property of attracting the materials like iron, steel, cobalt, nickel, etc. So what he was discovered that the island will be consisting of a huge amount of the iron ore, and what is the property, what is the nature of the iron ore means this iron ore is having the property of attracting the pieces of iron, steel, cobalt, nickel. Because of that, the shoes of the shepherds were attracted by that mountain, So who was invented the magnetism scientifically means by the Thales. What he was discussed? What he was discovered? He was discovered that whatever the island will be there called Magnesia, this Magnesia island will be consisting of large amount of the iron ore, which is having the property of attracting the pieces of iron, steel, cobalt, and nickel. Later on, this iron ore is also calling as natural magnet. This iron ore is also calling as a what? Natural magnet. Why? It is naturally attracting the pieces of the iron or any magnetic materials. That's why this iron ore will be calling as a what? Natural magnet. Its scientific name is a what? The scientific name of the iron ore is called what? Magnetite. The scientific name of the iron ore is called what? Magnetite. Its chemical composition formula is Fe2O3. So, who were invented the magnet earlier means, earlier the magnetism property will be identified the shepherds, and scientifically who was invented means the scientist called Thales. What he was noticed that? He noticed that island will be consisting of a huge amount of iron ore, which is having the property of attracting the magnetic materials such as iron, steel, cobalt, and nickel. So because of it is attracting the magnetic materials, so in generally we are calling this iron ore as natural magnet, and its scientific name is called what? Magnetite. Chemical composition formula is what? Fe2O3. So these people were identified the magnet earlier. Next, who was utilized the magnet earlier? Who was utilized this magnetic material will be earlier means the Chinese were using these magnetic materials for the navigation purpose. So who were user the magnetic materials earlier means what? Chinese, they were using these magnetic materials, what we are saying that iron ore, for the navigation purpose. They discovered that, they noticed that if a small piece of the iron ore is freely suspended in the air, that iron ore will be coming to the rest in the direction of north to south direction. In which direction? That a magnetic piece, that a magnetic material will be coming to the rest. So it is coming to the rest in the direction of the what? North and south direction. So this magnetic material will be showing the direction, so that it is also having directive property. The magnetic materials are having which type of property? Directive property. What is the meaning of the directive property? If any one of the magnetic material is suspended freely in the air, so that a magnetic material will be coming to the state of the rest, in the north to south direction, so that first the Chinese were using these magnetic materials for the navigation purpose, and whatever the natural magnets are available in the nature called iron ore, these natural magnets are weak in magnetism. So in generally we will get the iron ore from the earth, so they will be having the magnetic property. That magnetic property, whatever the available in the nature, naturally will be having what? Weaker in the field, and these natural magnets does not have any definite shape and size. So whatever the natural magnets, what we are calling it is magnetite. So this magnetite is having the weakest magnetic fields. That's why these natural magnets should not be used regularly, for our daily needs. And So the Chinese noticed that these natural magnets will be showing the particular direction. So they were named, these natural magnets are either leading stone, or lodestone. So the Chinese were named the natural magnets. The Chinese were named the natural magnets are either leading stone or lodestone. Why? So because whenever we suspended the iron ore freely in the air, it will be showing the direction. That's why these Chinese are calling the natural magnets are either leading stone or lodestone. And whatever the natural magnets are available in the nature, they will be having what? Weakest magnetic fields. So in generally nowadays we are using different shapes of the magnets. One is a bar magnet, magnetic needle, and horseshoe bar magnet. So all these magnets are called as artificial magnets. All these magnets are having what? Artificial magnets, and their magnetic field strength will be very much larger when we are comparing with the natural magnets. So this is the introduction part of the magnetism and matter. Next one, bar magnet. Next one is the what? Bar magnet. Already we told that nowadays we are using different types of magnet. The most familiar magnet is a what? A bar magnet. So what is a bar magnet? In generally the bar magnet will be in the shape of a rectangle. And this bar magnet is consisting of two poles. Two poles called south pole as well as the north pole. So what is a bar magnet? In generally the artificial magnet what we taken in the shape of the rectangle, those magnets we are calling as a what? Bar magnet. Bar magnets. This bar magnet will be having the two poles. So those poles are calling as a what? One is south pole, and the another one is called what? North pole. So in this bar magnet we are going to study about different properties of what are exhibiting by the bar magnet. In that, the first one is called attractive property. First property is called what? Attractive property. Already we discussed that if you take any one of the magnetic material, generally we will call the natural magnet is called what? Iron ore. That iron ore is attracting the small pieces of the magnetic materials called iron, cobalt, nickel, etc. So whether you take either the natural magnet or artificial magnet, so the basic property of any one of the magnet is it will be attracting the magnetic materials. Whether you consider the natural magnet or whether you consider artificial magnet, the fundamental property of the magnet is it will be attracting the magnetic materials only. So what are the examples for the magnetic materials? Iron, cobalt, nickel, etc. So if you consider the bar magnet, so already from this basic we know that it is having some attractive property. So whether this attractive property uniform over the entire length of the given bar magnet? No. So if you take any one of the bar magnet, the attracting power of the bar magnet will be restricted, confined to the particular regions only. This point is very, very important. If you take any one of the magnet, either it is a bar magnet or a horseshoe magnet or a magnetic needle, whatever it may be. So the attracting property of a given magnet, will be confined to a particular region only. particular region only. The region where the attracting power will be maximum, such regions we are calling as what? Poles. So, how can we define the pole? So, if you take any one of the bar magnet, that bar magnet will be having the two poles. One is calling as a what? South pole, another one is calling as a what? North pole. So, how can you define the pole of a bar magnet? The pole is a region in which the attracting power of the bar magnet will be maximum. Pole is a region in which the attracting power of the bar magnet will be maximum. Such regions we are calling as a what? Poles. If you take any one of the bar magnet, it is having the two poles, so that the magnet will be calling as a what? Dipole. If you take any one of the magnet, the magnet will be consisting of two poles, so that any one of the magnet will be calling as a what? Dipole. Already we know that a dipole in the case of the electrostatics. How can we define the dipole? So it is a combination of two equal and opposite charges are located, and they will be separated by some distance of separation. Here also, in the case of the magnet, it is also consisting of two poles. One is the south pole, another one is called what? North pole, which are similar to the positive charges as well as negative charges, and these two are separated by some particular distance of separation. Hence, we are calling that a bar magnet will be acting as a dipole. So, how can we define the pole? Pole is a region where the attracting power of the bar magnet will be concentrated. Pole is the region where the attracting property of the bar magnet will be concentrated. So, here the attracting property will be maximum, and in the middle of the bar magnet, the attracting property, the attracting power will be minimum. So, if you consider the magnet where the attracting power will be maximum, at poles where the attracting power will be minimum, at the center of the bar magnet, its attracting power will be minimum. So, this is the first point about the bar magnet. What is that? Attractive property. Next, second property means directive property. Second property is what? Directive property. Already we discussed that whoever used these magnets earlier means Chinese. So, what they noticed that if any one of the magnetic material or iron, a piece of iron ore is suspended freely in the air, it is coming to the rest. In which direction? North to south direction. If any one of the magnetic material is suspended freely in the air, it will be comes to the rest in north and south direction. Because of that, they said that the magnet will be showing the directive property. So, here also in the directive property, what we said that if you take any one of the bar magnet, which is freely suspended in the air, medium, so it will be comes to rest in the north to south direction. So, here if a bar magnet will be coming to the rest, in north to south direction, so how they will be define their poles? Suppose for us any one of the magnet is given, bar magnet is given, over that they didn't identify or they didn't mention this particular pole is the south pole and this particular pole is the north pole. Then how can we notice? So, this particular pole is the north pole and this particular pole is south pole. So, when we suspended the bar magnet freely in the air, so it is coming to rest. In the north to south direction. So, if you take any one of the bar magnet, it is having the two poles at the end of the bar magnet, Now, so whenever the bar magnet is suspended freely in the air medium, the pole, which is pointing towards geographical north. The pole of the bar magnet, which is pointing towards or directed towards geographical north, such type of pole we are calling as north pole. Once again, for a given bar magnet, how can we identify this particular pole is the north pole and this particular pole is south pole? Means if you suspend the bar magnet, the bar magnet will be coming to the rest in north to south direction, and the pole which is pointing towards the geographical north, such type of pole is calling as north pole of the given bar magnet, and the pole which is facing towards geographical south, such type of pole we are calling as the south pole of the given bar magnet, Like this, we have to notice particular pole is the north pole and the particular pole is called what? South pole. Next, third one is inductive property. So what we discussed, the first one, attractive property. It will be attracting the magnetic materials. Second one is a what? Directive property. It will be showing the direction. And the third one is a what? Inductive property. So this induction is also we studied in the electrostatics. If a charged conductor is kept in contact with the uncharged conductor. If a charged body will be kept in contact with the uncharged body, what will happen? That uncharged body will be getting charged. If you take the positively charged body, this body will be getting the negative charge. So in the case of the method induction, negative charges, that means opposite charges are induced over the uncharged bodies, what we studied in the electrostatics. Now, what is the induction in the case of the magnetism? So here we consider a bar magnet, which is having south pole as well as the north pole. Whenever this bar magnet will be kept in contact with a magnetic materials. So what we taken, two different objects we taken here. One is the bar magnet. Another one is a what? Unmagnetized magnetic materials. Whenever the bar magnet will be kept in contact with the magnetic materials, so the magnetism will be induced. In these magnetic materials. So whenever we separate those magnetic materials from the given bar magnet, they will be acting as a temporary magnet for a short time interval. Such type of process of inducing the magnetic field in the given magnetic materials is called what? Induction. So in the case of the inductive property, whenever the bar magnet will be kept in contact with the magnetic materials, so those magnetic materials are getting magnetized. And they will be acting as a temporary magnet for a short time interval. Such type of property is called what? Inductive property. Such type of property is called what? Inductive property. The next one is what? Magnetic axis and magnetic meridian. Magnetic axis and magnetic meridian. So if you take a bar magnet, so this bar magnet is consisting of two poles. This bar magnet is consisting of two poles. Those are calling as a what? South pole as well as the north pole. South pole as well as north pole. Now, how can we define the term magnetic axis? How can we define the term magnetic axis? So, the imaginary line which is passing through the poles of the given bar magnet. So how can we define the magnetic axis? The imaginary line which is passing through the poles of the given bar magnet is calling as magnetic axis. So this dotted line is indicating what? Magnetic axis. The dotted line is indicating what? Magnetic axis. Now, how can we define the term magnetic meridian? So the magnetic meridian is a vertical plane which is passing through the magnetic axis. How can we define the magnetic meridian? Magnetic meridian is a vertical plane which is passing through the magnetic axis. Such a type of vertical plane we are calling as a what? Magnetic meridian. This definition is a very important. So how can we define the magnetic meridian? The vertical plane which is passing through the magnetic axis is calling as the what? Magnetic meridian. Next definition is a what? Magnetic length and geometrical length. Magnetic length and geometrical length. So, and what is the relation between the magnetic length and the geometrical length of the given bar magnet? So, already we discussed in the case of the electrostatics, electric dipole. In the case of the dipole, all the distances must be measured from the center of the dipole. All the distances are measured from the center of the dipole, and the poles are located at equidistance from the center of the dipole. So what point we have to remember in the case of the dipole means? So the distances are always measured from the center of the dipole. This is the first point. The distances are always measured from the center of the dipole, and the poles are located at equidistance from the center of the dipole. So here I am assuming that the north pole is at a distance of L. The north pole is at a distance of L from the center of the dipole. Then automatically the south pole is also at the same distance. From the center of the dipole. That only we discussed in the last point. The poles are located at equidistance from the center of the dipole. So L is the length of the south pole from the center, and L is also the length of the north pole from the center. So what is the magnetic length? So magnetic length is the distance of separation between the poles of the given bar magnet. So what is the definition of the magnetic length? Magnetic length is defined as the distance of separation between separation between south pole to the north pole in the given bar magnet, such distance of separation we are calling as a what? Magnetic length. So the distance of separation between the south to north pole simply we are taking as a what? Magnetic length. So magnetic length will be represented by 2L. Magnetic length. In the numericals, whenever they mentioned magnetic length means that will be taken by 2L. So always a magnetic length will be mentioned in the form of 2L. Next, what is meant by geometrical length? The actual length of the bar magnet, is calling as the actual length of the given bar magnet is calling as geometrical length. So magnetic length means what? It is a distance of separation between the poles only. Poles does not be located exactly at the ends of the bar magnet. Poles does not be located exactly at the ends of the bar magnet. They will be just inside the ends of the bar magnet. They will be located where? Just inside the edges of the bar magnet. That's why geometrical length is different as well as magnetic length is different. Magnetic length is what? Distance of separation between the two poles, and the geometrical length will be giving the whole length of the given bar magnet, what we able to measure by using the scale. So the total length of the given bar magnet we are calling as a what? Geometrical length. Distance of separation between the poles is calling as a what? Magnetic length. So magnetic length is equal to 5/6 times of geometric length. The relation between magnetic length and geometric length is a what? Magnetic length is equal to 5/6 times of the geometrical length of a given bar magnet. Hence magnetic length is always smaller than the geometrical length. So this is about magnetic length as well as geometrical length. Next, properties of the poles. So already we know that in the case of the electrostatics, a dipole will be formed by the combination of two equal and opposite charges. In the case of the electrical dipole, which type of charges we consider there? Equal and opposite charges we consider. Its magnitude is equal to Q, its magnitude also is equal to what? Q. And they will be separated by some particular distance of separation. That combination we are calling as a what? Electric dipole. In the case of the magnetic dipole, we consider the combination of south and north pole, and these two are separated by some particular distance of separation. That length only we are calling as a what? Magnetic length. So what are the properties of the poles of the magnet? See here, these are poles. This poles means what here? Positive charge as well as a negative charge. If you took a positive charges, that means like charges, or negative charges. Okay, so here when you consider the like charges, the like charges will be repels. If you took positive charge as well as the negative charge, that means unlike charges, if you take the unlike electrical charges, they will be attracting each other. Similarly, in the case of the magnetism also, if you take north pole or south pole, that means, so these are calling as a what? Like poles. These like poles will be repels. The like poles will be what? Repels. If you took the combination of north pole or south pole, those like poles will be getting repels with each other. If you take the unlike poles, whenever you take the unlike poles, those unlike poles will be The unlike poles will be attracts with each other. If you take the like poles, they will be repels. If you take the unlike poles, they will be attracting with each other. And in the magnetism, we have to remember that the most important concept, that is monopole. What is that? Monopole. In the case of the electric field and charges, electrostatics, a single charge will be existed. A single charged particle. Suppose if you take the electron will be what? Negatively charged particle. If you take the proton, that is a positively charged particle. That means, so in the electrostatics, we will separate a single charge from the given atom. So when you supply some ionization energy, we will remove the single electron from its orbit. But in the case of the magnetism, suppose if you take a bar magnet, so this is our south pole, this is our north pole. If you cut a bar magnet into two pieces, these individual pieces will be acting as, again, a tiny bar magnets. Once again, what we taken initially here, we taken a bar magnet. I want to separate a south pole, I want to separate a north pole. So regarding that, I separated that bar magnet into two pieces. Even though you split the bar magnet into two pieces, this single piece should not be acting as a south pole. This single piece should not be acting as a north pole. When you separate the given bar magnet into two pieces, each and every piece will be acting as a tiny bar magnet, a small bar magnet. Hence, in the case of the magnetism, a monopole should not be existed. So, in the case of the electrostatics, we will separate a single charged particle from the given atom by supplying some ionization energy to the valence electrons. We will remove the single charged particle from the given atom. But in the case of the magnetism, you can't separate a single south pole or single north pole. Hence, monopole should not be existed. In the case of the magnetism. If you split a given bar magnet into any number of small pieces, each and every small piece must be acting as a tiny magnet, a small magnet. So this is the introduction part about magnetism.